Hey, hi. Welcome to Cherie's weight loss journey. Another day. I woke up feeling a little concerned. I'm concerned that, in this spiritual warfare, in the efforts to correct the cycles, we have triggered the schizos. Yeah. I want to know the difference between a cycle and a schizo. Okay? And we'll listen to this together. Okay? What's the difference between a psycho and a schizo? Okay, it says the term psycho is a colloquial, often stigmatized term used to describe someone who is mentally unstable or dangerous, while schizo is a short term informal for schizophrenia, a mental health disorder. Psychosis is a symptom, not a condition, and it can be present in various mental illnesses, including schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is a specific mental illness characterized by a range of symptoms, including psychosis, but also including negative symptoms and cognitive impairment. Definition of psychosis is a symptom or condition where a person experiences a disconnection from reality, often involving hallucinations, delusions, and disorganized thinking. While schizophrenia is a chronic and severe mental illness that affects a person's ability to think, feel, and behave clearly. Okay, example. A person experiencing psychosis might believe that they are being persecuted, delusion, or have voices when no one is present, hallucination. Okay, and then people with schizophrenia may experience psychosis, but also struggle with disorganized speech and behavior, catatonia, cognitive impairment, difficulty with attention, memory, and executive function, and negative symptoms. In short, while psycho is a harmful, inaccurate term, schizo refers to a specific mental illness with a range of symptoms, including psychosis. Psychosis is a symptom that can occur in schizophrenia and other conditions. Hi, welcome to Cherie's weight loss journey. Today, I just felt like getting out a little bit early before the weather got too hot. My temperature gauge says it's already 82 degrees. And, I guess it's just going to go up from there. Right? Now, I had a lot on my mind because, for me, it still remains imperative that women, become a protected class, because women definitely have, a responsibility of being the vessel that brings, new entities into this realm. Okay? Irregardless and irrespective of the fact that, men want to play, all of these different roles, that they, want to play. If they want to be bisexual, or if they want to be transgender, if they want to pretend like they're an animal, a devil, a demon, a marvel, okay? Irregardless to how these men want to play, right? Because a lot of them, they don't feel like life is real. They don't feel like this world, this reality is real. They've been playing video games for so long that they think that life is a simulation, right? And if you ask them, they'll say, no, we're speaking metaphorically, right? And it's like, yeah, but, this metaphoric definition that they're given is also something that they're trying to implement in their living. Yes. So, this is one of the reasons why I stated, that we should go to sort of a matriarchal type of situation, and that women would prefer not to have to be, the matriarch. Believe me, who wants that kind of responsibility, right? Men act like they want that responsibility. They don't. They just want the title, okay? However, ultimately, they want a harem of women that will work, and they would be like the cock-a-doodle-doo in the hen house, right? That's basically what they want. I'm not saying that this, situation would be great for everyone, because I don't believe it would be. That's the type of situation that create very hostile men, which is what we have already brewing in the pot, in the cauldron. In the cauldron, we have these men that are, hostile and angry based on, not having a relationship with their father and being alienated from their mother, even though, the mother was in their life, but the mother was truly out there working. And since she's out there working, and she's dealing with a hostile environment, right? It's hostile for her. This is an environment, where we have a lot of males who feel like, women shouldn't be out there in the workplace. Okay, if they're not going to be out there in the workplace, how are they going to feed the babies? They cannot feed the children off of blood, sweat, and saliva. They can't. And taking advantage over A child's mother is not going to make the child feel great about life. It's just not. They're going to see, people take advantage of their mother, grow up and do the same thing to other women, and basically, live their life as if life is not worth living. Which is why, the symptoms that we're seeing, the psychosis that we're seeing, right, is kind of forming into a schizophrenia. Okay? And this schizophrenia, is, in my opinion, more severe than, just having a symptom or symptoms of psychosis. Okay? Now, what's appalling is that it's happening on a massive level. That's appalling, right? That's overwhelming to our society. This is a point where, okay, we have to understand. First, we have to account for it. We have to admit that this is what's going on. Then we have to take responsibility in devices and methods and systems in which to contain, the damage to our society. That's exactly what I'm talking about. This guy driving in his little 300 Datsun, very reckless, already had been in an accident. His front bumper is loose, and yet, he was weaving in and out of the traffic. I haven't been out even 15 minutes, and this person, cut me off to cut into these other lanes and then do a U-turn and go back into the gas station. Unbelievable. Okay? So these are people that are feeling the psychosis of, not wanting to conform, of not wanting to, because for them, they think that if they conform, that they're not going to get the life that they want. And like I said, they're already not living the life that they want, which is why they're rebellious in the first place. Okay? So that's one of the reasons why in my previous videos where, yes, there's an age in which people need to be civilized and recognize that they are mere civilians. There are also going to have to be people who are even younger than 36 that will need to recognize that they're going to be mere civilians. You see? And this is where, now people will go into saying, okay, so is this some kind of, predestination? Is this some kind of predestination reality? And then you can tell them until you're blue in the face to let them know, hey, there's nothing new underneath the sun. Nothing new underneath the sun. However, that transgender thing is a little bit new. It is. It's definitely a little bit new. A little bit new. I can't even tell you how much it's new, because they used to do like crossbreedings with animals. A type of cloning. What was that movie? Dr. Zhivago. Dr. Zhivago, something like that. Some doctor, who was experimenting with, cloning different genes and stuff from animals and putting them into, different animals. And, of course, he did experiment with people. Okay, he did. Some of these, studies are still ongoing. They may have tried to do it in remote areas, like, harboring them in the Arctic, or, in some underground laboratory. Yeah, they've been doing this. And so like I said, traffic up here. I'm wondering if I should avoid this traffic. I don't know if this is a regular rush hour traffic, or if there's been some kind of accident that's, slowed everything down. So I'm going to go this way. I'm not gonna lie, in the spirit realm, a lot of people were very excited, about the notions of what used to be impossible is now possible, and you can be whatever it is that you want to be, as long as you have the money to make it happen, right? And yet, we have people that, resist that. Especially women will resist it, because women, have to come. All women come through. Well, most of all women. Almost every woman comes into this realm with a contract of stating that they will bring, life into this world. Okay? And she's reminded of that contract, every time she has a cycle. So, she wants to fulfill, her contract that she's had, with the creator of all things, that she's going to do what's expected of her. My dog wants me to get out here and take a walk. I don't want to walk. I don't. But I suppose I could take a small walk, because I know she only wants to go a couple of 100 feet, and then we'll come back.